Let's get ready for the message of the evening by just coming into that beautiful, centered, and balanced place that I know is there. Take a breath. Just feel the softness around your own heart, the gratitude, the glowing light coming from you that Spirit sees, that we see when we look into your face, your unique beingness shining through. You in this moment, in this family of light, in this room. And let that resonate out from the center of you. What Spirit knows is true. What Spirit holds as real for you, as who you are in every moment, as why you are here, to be love, beginning from that beautiful place right in the center of your being, resonating, rippling out into the world for each one of us to receive and enjoy and be touched by, and to give back to you that love of Spirit, to reflect it back to you from one heart to another, from many hearts to your light heart. And we say with gratitude to each heart here, to each being that has joined this family this weekend, and each being listening to this thereafter. Love is who you are, and that is honored so much from the other side of the veil and from the messages brought to us by Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. These are the moments where my partner steps aside, and he does. There are those who will listen to this, and again, as I've said before, there is a frustration with understanding a process that can be so instant. In an older energy, in order to prepare for channeling, a human had to prepare for channeling. And it took time, and there was process, there was procedure, there was an integration. And what you see today is different. There are healers in the room and listening to this that know what I'm speaking of, because in an old energy you did one thing and today you do another. There may be a preparation that you had before you approached a human being in any way with inner energy, whether you touch them or not. And now perhaps that has shifted and changed. In an older energy, perhaps you were involved in protecting yourself. In a new energy, you prepare them with love. You ask them permission. You integrate with them in a way you've never done before. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about a misunderstanding yet again, as I have done before. A misunderstanding about where God is. There is this human bias that is a linear, compartmentalized, singular relationship. When you speak to somebody and they are quiet and they listen to you, then you are quiet and they speak back. This is as linear as it can get. And yet it's your life. It's social properness. You don't speak over one another. One listens and one speaks. Could it be any more basically human? Could it be anything more that makes sense in conversation? And what do you do with that paradigm? And the answer is that you apply it to spirit. You speak, spirit listens. You're quiet and hope you hear something back, even though you may not. Not only that, because of the training of your society and your culture, you're now being told where God is and where you are. You're down here, God is up there. Now you're in two boxes. And now your box has to speak to another. And there's two realities. One is powerful, creation, and one is small, it's you. Now you're wondering if God is even listening. And through the ages, you've postured yourself in so many different ways so God will hear you. And then came the rules. You got to do this, you got to do that. Sometimes God will never hear you. You got to talk through somebody else who will be able to talk to God. So you go to them and they can talk to God. They got their box. God has his, her box. It's all about compartmentalization. It's all about individual pieces. And what I want to tell you is that that is not God. That is not spirit. That's not the creative source. That's the human's idea of it. I want to tell you the way it is. Again, I want to reveal a benevolent bias yet again. The channelings at the end of these workshop days are different, dear ones. They're not filled with the kinds of messages that we gave yesterday. These are love messages. Only love messages. And here it is. I am Kryon. I represent the creative source. I've never been human. I can tell you all about the creative source and what it feels for you, because you're part of it. How many times on this planet do the masters have to tell you you have a piece of God inside you? Whatever that means to you, what do you think about it? Where is it? It's in every single piece of every single cell that you have. We are with you all the time. All the time. All the time. We're with you when you sleep. We wait until that part of your sleep will allow the downloads and all the other kinds of things that you've asked for that have been discussed on this stage even today. We're the ones who will wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you'll be angry. Why did I wake up at 3 in the morning? Angry at the fact that there's an angelic presence in your room that loves you enough to wake you up and say, I love you. Did you ever think of that? Next time your eyes bang open at 3, I want you to do something different. I want you to raise your hand in your bed and say, thank you, God, for loving me enough to wake me up. We're with you all the time. You got a situation going on in your life, you got a health issue going on in your life, you got relationship issues, you got places to be issues, you got all kinds of things, yeah? Guess who's with you? We know all about it. Not in the dark. We're not in the other room. We're not in a box. We're with you. All the time. But because of this bias that you have, look at what you do. I'm going to give you a metaphor. You're a mother. Now, that's not a stretch. Some of you are. Here comes your children. And your child wants to talk to you. So the first thing they do is kneel and face west. And now they're going to talk to you. Dear Mom, thank you for being here. I'm really hungry. Somewhere in your grace, I hope there will be a meal in my future. I don't know whether you're listening to me or not. Now, you're Mom, and you're standing right next to him. Excuse me, I'm here. I hear the message. I'm cooking in the other room. Can't you smell it? And then they do it again. Dear Mom, I don't know if you heard me. You see, I'm a little hungry. They're going to make it better now they're facing south. You never know what's going to work. You never know what's going to work. I want to tell you right now, that's exactly how we feel. I'm your family. We are your family. The creative source in you is your family. God is your family. Do you know what's happening when you're not here? Do you realize that humanism is temporary? Do you realize that a piece of the Creator that you are, you always were? There was no beginning, there is no end. You are part of the creation of all things. That's who you are. When you meditate, every single thing you say, known before you say it. Why do you ask for things when we were there? Did you ever think about that? Dear God, thank you for listening, you might say. You'll never believe what Sally said to me today. There's a situation in my life, and let me tell you all about it. And then you do like what we call the laundry list of your situation. And the angels are patient, and they listen because they love you. But we were there. We're there all the time, all the time. There's a benevolence that is biased in your life, and that is the creative source. If you'll open the door, light will come in, period. Because of your training, perhaps in an organizational box that is spiritual, you've been told something. That if you do something wrong, things are not going to work. So, Mom, you're cooking the meal, your child is on his knees, and now they're facing north. Because they think facing south may not work. Obviously, they didn't get their meal yet. Now they're facing another direction, hoping that will work. Because they've been told that if you face the wrong direction, Mom won't hear you. How silly is that? How silly is that? You can't do anything wrong when you speak to family who's always with you. We're always listening. We're always there. You may not get the answer linear like you want to, but the meal is being cooked. Can't you smell it? Can't you smell it? The benevolence is there. You cannot make a mistake. You can't approach us wrong. You can't go to a place where it's wrong. You can't isolate yourself from God, the family. Try it. Get in a closet. We're there. Turn off the light. We're there. Do something inappropriate. Swear at us. We're there. With love. Can't get rid of us. We're benevolently biased for you. Maybe it's time to rethink some of the things that you're always thinking about. Well, maybe I'm not doing this right. We don't care how you do it. When your child looks at you and in your eyes and says, Mom, Dad, thank you, I love you. Can they do it wrong? Is there any way they could do it that's wrong? And the answer is no. No. They can do it on the telephone. They can do it on the computer. They can do it on their phone. They can do it in writing. It doesn't matter. Because your heart is just going to melt when you hear it. You're not going to cast it away because they didn't spell it right. You hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? That's the message of love from the creative source. Old soul, we need you to be family. We don't need you to be intellectual and second guess whether you're doing things right or wrong, or standing left or right, or facing north-south, or bowing or not bowing. We just want you to relax and know that this communication is always open, always open. If you don't get an answer, if you don't feel something, are you courageous enough, wise enough to understand that it's not always necessary for you to get an answer or feel something to know that we're there? Is there enough elegance in your wisdom with family to cast aside those notions and realize you're always being heard, always being heard? And this message is for everybody. That's the relationship that we have with you. Always on. It's not linear. When you're talking to us, we are talking to you at the same time. It's not linear. We're not waiting for you to finish. We're speaking to you as you speak to us. You're here listening to channeling right now. Are you aware we're listening to you? We know who's talking to us, even in this room. You see, we're not linear. We can talk back and forth. We can hug each other at the same time. That's the message. It's easy. It's simple. Get out of your box. It's time. It really is time to stop analyzing and just be. If you get out of the fear or the intellectual curiosity of certain kinds of things and just let them happen, because you trust the benevolence of Spirit who's always with you, if you can do that, it disarms a great deal of things that are blocks in your path. If you want to know what the blocks in your path, in your personal path are, it's trying to overanalyze and second guess what God's doing with you. Because it stops you. Because now you decide you're in charge of what God wants for you. Yes, there is a veil. Yes, it's tough with the communications because we are not speaking in linear ways personally to you. But the veil is easy to get through with love, understanding the elegance of wisdom, and an undying, unstoppable benevolence for you. Undying, unstoppable benevolence for you. No matter what situation you're in right this second, God knows about it. He's here and working the puzzle with you. If you never meditated, if all you did was have a vision of your arms around the creative source, if that's all you did, that's all that would be necessary. We don't have to hear from you because we're with you all the time, holding your hand. That's all we need. You mean we don't have to do this or that, or face this way, or meditate a certain amount of time, or say these kinds of things? No, you don't. Not as a communication with Spirit. No, you don't. But if you do, and you want to talk, and you want to say things, especially love things, you're going to feel something. If you're at your lowest ebb and you have the courage to raise your hand and say, "Dear Spirit, I feel lousy and I love you anyway," you're going to feel tingles all over your body of Spirit celebrating the courage you have to be in trouble and also in love. Now that is an old soul. That's an old soul. And that's the message for today. Be still and know that you are God. And so it is.